Moment with Truth with your girl Queen A. Y'all already know we don't bring nothing but the best of the best entrepreneurs from all across the globe, bringing y'all mindset awareness right here on this platform. And today we have a special guest for y'all. When I say this guest right here, like she has so much going on. So she has her own nonprofit. She has her, right? So it's her, and then she has a him. So we're gonna get into all that. But before we get into all that, I'm gonna go ahead and let her introduce herself. So her name is Miss Kiana Rogers. How you doing, love?
Hey.
Hey. So I'm grateful to have you here today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day because we know you busy. You busy. You got a lot going on. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be here.
No,
So
I appreciate you having me.
hey, that's okay. Before we get into anything, just kind of tell us a little bit about what you got going on. So what you doing, you're a her program and you're a him program.
So it's actually, the nonprofit is her, and it's Holloman Enterprise Resources, of course, as you see behind me, which also stands for Heal, Empower, and Rebuild. And then I have an LLC, which is Her and Him LLC. So her and him is together, and so it is still Heal, Empower, and Rebuild, but he is mighty. So because the boys got tired of all of the her stuff, so we had to create something different because of it being a co-ed organization.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So
thank you.
What made you start that? Like what made you start that?
Well, so the reason, her got started because July the 1st, 2018, my only daughter was kidnapped, murdered, and decapitated. And my daughter had my daughter had mental illness. And so that's why the primary focus is to teach our youth about their social emotional intelligence. And so with that being said, it's tragedy, but I try to turn my daughter's story and her tragedy into some purpose. And so that's kind of how the whole organization got started, both. Yeah, that's kind of why it had to be started.
I want to send my condolences to you. I knew you had lost your older daughter, but I didn't know the circumstances behind that. I didn't know all that had happened. So, and I lost my oldest child, my son. So,
my only daughter. No, my only.
Out. And I know how it is to lose a child.
Right. And wow.
I want to commend you because you did something so soon that I wasn't able to do. And you, like, right after that, you was able to build a mindset to where you still forward. And for me, for a long time, I wasn't able to do that. So kind of like walk me through what was the kind of mindset or things you had to tell yourself in your mind to overcome that.
So I wouldn't say like right after, but so in 2018, like my daughter was missing for 53 days. And, throughout that whole like strong along process, I went through a lot of my own emotional issues. And so then once I kind of like started grieving, like after my daughter was found and after the funeral, and then, I actually went through a whole season of loss because I lost my father too. I lost my father. My boyfriend left 3 days after the funeral. I lost some friends. I lost some family. Lost my house. I was in the process of flipping the house. I lost that, lost my car, lost my job 5 days before my daughter's first birthday after her death. And then I lost my dad. And so in 5 months. And so with all of that being said, I went into a dark place. But by the grace of God, see, I didn't lose faith. So by the grace of God, even though I went through that dark place, I kind of came out of it real fast. So it was kind of like, I sat around and I felt sorry for myself. And then I thought about it like, wait a minute, hold on. This ain't me. This ain't going to get it. This ain't going to cut it. I got to figure out how to do something else and turn this energy into something dynamic. So, and then I had some really positive people in my life that were encouraging me to do something like, hey, you can't just let go. If you don't want to let go of her memory and you out here trying to catch a killer, like you really need to be trying to focus on something else and how to honor your daughter. So that once that became my mindset, me changing the way I could think so I could change the way I live and others live. That is why I came up with the concept of, look, these kids are out here struggling from their traumas, mental illness. My daughter had her own traumas and her, issues that she dealt with because of, her having an absent father and me being a young mother and not really being able to identify what mental illness was. So in all of that, with that being said, like, I just decided like to be an overcomer, I just decided, look, we're gonna have to overcome this, but I still do have my days. So, like, I'm not perfect. I don't have like a perfect life, but I feel like I get healing when I'm helping. Yeah. My healing comes from helping other people. Yeah.
Oh, man, like, I don't even know where to start. Like I didn't know you went through all that in a short span of time.
5 months.
I heard you say 5 months. I'm like, dang, that ain't even, that's like within, that ain't even half of a year. And for you to be able to, like you said, you went to a dark place, but you was able to snap out of that. So how important do you think environment played with that? Because I heard you say you had a strong group of people that you was able to be around that was able to be that support. So how important do you feel like environment is in that place?
So my prayer warriors, I ain't gonna even lie to you. Look, I was not raised in church. I had some friends that like introduced me to their faith. I've been, to a couple of different places. Didn't know who I wanted to follow or if I wanted to be a follower, right? So what I did was I had my mentor who lives in Jersey call me every morning to pray with me. And then I had a couple other people, and it was so crazy too, because they're all older people, right? And so I had an older father. And so my younger friends would be like, you always around all these geriatric people. Well, guess what though? These people have lived and they've had some experience in life. And so they started teaching me different things. And some of the things, the conversations that we would have with, my life was those conversations. Like, and so one thing would lead to another. And the next thing I know, I was like speaking power to myself, speaking power over my own life, like things that I wanted, speaking them into existence. And the next thing I know, spitting it out is right there. The house that I thought I lost, no, I ain't lose that house. I thought I did, but a year later, I found out they couldn't even sell the house without me. Then, wow. Yeah. So then, like I lost my job at the VA, but 2 years later, they had to pay me because they fired me unjustly. So right after I lost my child. So like in the end, 2 of the people who were the main people that fired me got fired. Like, so the universe was doing its work. And so I just said, if the Lord ever give me a chance to be able to speak and to speak life into some youth or even some adults, which I work with adults as well, but I primary focus, I would say 80% of my business is about youth. Then I would try to be someone that will lead them down the right path. I want to be the positive vessel. Not perfect, still building, still teaching, still training on my own to be better, because you can always be better. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm very teachable, but I want to be able to help heal my own community and the people who look like me. And I want to go to other communities with people who don't look like me to teach them about the people who don't look like me, so that we can have a better, understanding. Because the world is moving in a different direction right now, as we already know.
Yes. It's definitely moving in a different direction. I mean, especially from when we was young. You look at it now, and I tell everybody, like, I don't even know if this is the same world sometimes. I look around, so it's totally different. And nowadays, one of the things with, like, me and you lost our child, and a lot of parents out here, it's usually we think when we as parents, we like, no, we setting up stuff for us, for our children to bury us. But a lot of parents is burying their children. And what was the switch for you? Because some parents don't realize, like, sometimes we don't realize when we having callings or when something is trying to tell us to, it's okay, snap out of that. So what was it for you that the time that you just knew, okay, you know what, I'm done grieving? Like, was it something that happened, or you watched something, or was it just like all of a sudden in your mind you just told yourself like this ain't it? When was
So
the exact moment for you?
so I was about to blow my brains out. And I have a very very good friend who I met her through another friend who kind of like deserted me in my grieving process, right? But me and her had a lot in common. And I don't know how she knew. I don't know what, like, she's very intuitive, but kind of like yourself. But she texted me and was like, "Do you want the police to kick in the door or bust the window?" And I didn't respond because I didn't think the police were here. But I don't even know how she knew. Maybe we had a conversation previously, like that night before, and I wasn't answering the phone. I was just, I had checked out. And so they kicked my door in. And so
That's a friend. That's a real friend. I just had to say that because we don't have a lot of people like that. We have a lot of people
she
screaming
my
out
sister.
online, but
Let me tell you, I have 7 sisters that are my biologicals, but she is more of my sister than any of them. And so all I know is I spent some time I spent like 3 days in the psych ward. And I said, this ain't me. This is not me. This is not for me. And losing my life, that wasn't me either. Because guess what? When my mentor, when I talked to him, he said, if you would have took your life, you weren't gonna be with your daughter. What were you thinking? And he was right. Also, taking my life, what purpose would that have served to the family and friends that I had here? So, like, I also learned that I lost my daughter, but my parents lost their granddaughter. My cousins lost their cousin. My nieces lost their cousin. My sisters lost their niece. My brothers lost their nephew. Well, like brothers from another mother, because I don't have like brothers, but I do have brothers. And so, like, they all lost somebody too. So I was being selfish. Like, I lost my daughter. Y'all didn't lose y'all. Yeah, but they lost somebody that they had a connection with for 23 years, just like myself. So we all went through that. But what really snapped me out of it was I knew that that wasn't the life for me, and not taking my life wasn't an option. So to try to encourage anybody, like, I learned that it hurt in the beginning, but it gets better over time with the healing. You will never forget it. You will never be, which is not something that you will ever be able to just close down in your memory bank. Like, oh, okay, that part of my life is over. No, my daughter is constant, like, she's in my mind and in my heart every day, all day. So yeah, that's how, I knew, like, no, not an option.
Just your strength. You got amazing strength. I want to tell you that we need more women with that strength, more people, not just women, more people in general.
There are people just like you. See, this, you're here because this is your strength. And what I say to that too is, people say, you lost your daughter, I would go crazy. You're not crazy, and neither am I, right? But you know what happens? I tell women all the time that say that to me, I don't know what I would do. You right. You don't know what you would do. That's why I lost my daughter and you didn't lose yours. Because the Lord, he knows my strength like he knows your strength. So how I thought that giving up was what I was supposed to be doing. Wrong again. Not you, Kiana. Not you, Queen. Not going to happen. I got another purpose. I need you to take this road because that's not the road for you right now. And so that's how I had to look at it.
And you also talk about thinking about other people, taking them in consideration, because we be selfish through our grieving process, right? Because we think about us, and I can totally sympathize with that, because it's like me, my aunt, and my cousin, we was all pregnant at the same time, but I'm the only one who lost their child. We all had our babies, and then just to continue to see their children grow up, which, they all grown now, but it don't matter how old they get. It's like,
That's
you know,
right.
every time they post a birthday up, because we all had our babies a week apart.
Wow.
So, you know, it's like they children
That's
still
a
here. It's
reminder.
a reminder every time they say happy birthday. You know what I mean? It's like a fresh reminder for me. And I used to catch myself being selfish, you know, like to the point to where I'm like, I don't even want to see it. You know what I mean? But then I had to think, like, why am I being selfish? Like, you know, like I might not have my child here, but I still get to see through them because they was all born at the same time. And that's how I look at it. Like, man, they got kids and this
Wow.
and that. So it just reminds me, well, man, my son could have kids. Are they going to school? Man, I wonder if my son been doing. It's like, so every time I had to, instead of using it as something, as a downer, as something negative, I had to turn it into a positive because it was to the point to where for a little while, I didn't even want to look at my own little cousin, you know, just
I
at
went
a
through that.
me, you know, being jealous. Like you only want to see people like, oh, they got kids. They ain't, you know, they ain't lose no kids. So sometimes you don't think they understand. But like you said, we have to humble ourselves too and realize, okay, they might not lost a child, but guess what? It's people out there that lost parents. I ain't never lost a parent. It's people out there that lost, you know, grandmas or, you know, well, I lost both of my grandmas, but people that done lost all their kids, you know, you
That
have to think
part.
about that. You
That
know,
part. I know someone that has happened to. But what you were saying is so real and for real. Like I couldn't even the first probably year, I didn't want to be around nobody else with their kids, with their daughters. I didn't want to be around nobody with kids. And I was blessed to have a mentor that when I did lose my job and I lost my dad, like I had already like checked out over my daughter, but it's like, dang, all this going on around me. What did I do? I was blessed to have somebody to step up and, you know, he paid to get my car back, paid all my bills for a year. Everybody don't have that. So that was a blessing. Those are the angels that were sent to me. So, you know, but I was still depressed. I was still depressed. Like, what's going on here? Like, you know, what, you know, and the way that people would talk about my daughter, about how she deserved to be killed, it was like, whoa, even that's why some of my family members, we didn't click for a while because of things that were being said and rumors. And the only thing I have to say to something like that is I carried this young lady for 9 months and I nurtured her for 23 years. It doesn't matter what she did, who she was with, what she was involved in, she was my daughter. That's all I knew. I just knew she was my daughter and it's no excuse. So yeah, but that's life.
and life be lifing.
It'd
And
be
life be lifing. Like when they said that and they came up with that, I said that's
I
the
love
perfect
it.
quote. You know, because life really do be life and it don't ever stop lifing, no matter how much money you get. And when they say more money, more problems, I promise it seems like as soon as you like, you know what, I'm done with this now, because do this and do this, something else happen. You're like, man, I just saved this.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
your
and now
problems grow with the money.
it do. It's like, you know, more money for real, more problems. But through that, I know you felt anger because I, as a parent, you know, I've been there. What kind of self did you tell yourself mentally to help you when you get through them anger? Because I'm pretty sure it's probably times where you still get angry. So what kind of things did you tell yourself, or do you still get angry? Or when you did, what kind of things did you tell yourself mentally to help
I
you
had a
out?
moment yesterday. But so I went to therapy as well. See, oftentimes we feel like that's something that's frowned upon, especially in our culture. Like, oh, therapy. No, I had to go. I had 2 therapists. I had a white woman and a black man. I had 2. Um, and what I found is that both of them gave me different strategies, breathing techniques, and one of them just brought that fire out of me, like, which was the lady. She said, "You a badass." She said, "Why aren't you talking to kids about your daughter? Why aren't you?" She's like, "It's so many different things you can be doing for your daughter in her name." She said, "I need you to go home and figure it out." Boom. But she wasn't the first person that had told me, but she kind of brought it out of me that day. So it's like being angry about it. What difference is it gonna make? That's what she would say. Like, so you can be angry and mad, and then you're gonna go to bed and you're gonna wake up angry and mad again. And how are you, she said, how are you honoring your daughter in that light? And so I found out that, hey, the little white lady was telling me some real stuff. So she's like, "You're angry for what? You can't change it. But what you can do is change somebody else's life." And that was the best thing she could ever said to me, because it made me realize, like, heck yeah, I could be changing somebody else's life. So yeah, I have moments sometimes when I see people mistreat their kids, especially their daughters, because that was my only child. And so I was telling my friend, because he was talking about all of the things that his daughter was doing wrong yesterday, like this dummy, he called her dumb and something else he said. But I said, you know what? I wish I could talk to my daughter. I wish I could. I wish I could get a text. Give me a text from Spring Grove Cemetery right now. So I said, I'm gonna talk to you later. And I start crying. Like, cause stuff like that, it hit home. Yeah, so I struggle with that. When hearing people talk crazy to their mamas and daddies, and hearing people talk crazy to their kids.
Especially when people say they ready to give up on them. That irks my nerves. You know, like, they 15 and 16, and you got people that just be like, I done did everything. Hell, they just turned 15 years old. This when the problem just now begin.
Yeah.
And it's so.
I had a parent call me and say that this morning, that she was ready to sign over her rights.
I didn't talk to so many parents, and that's how I know that's a thing, because I hear that from so many parents, that you literally have to sit down and walk them through why that's not okay. Have to walk them through, for me, I guess for me, it depends on the situation, because a lot of the parents that I talk to, I know this, it's like, I done tried everything, but then when you start getting into what have they really tried, they really ain't tried nothing. Okay. So it's like, now, if you feel like you done tried and tried, because I'm one of them parents now, you can't be disrespectful either. I put my kids out, you being disrespectful, because I'm one that's taking care of you. I'm gonna do this, and we can go to therapy, even if it's me. You feel like you want to go to therapy with, hey, mama ain't listening to me. I'm willing. My kids always know I'm willing to sit down and listen, because I don't know everything. And I'm still learning as a parent. Even if my kid's grown, I'm constantly learning how to be a parent.
Right.
And so what's your take on that before I get into what I was about to say? So what is your take on that? Because I heard you say no. So I'm interested, because, I really would want to know, what's your take? How do you feel about that?
Is this a judge-free zone?
Judge-free zone. Slap them with truth.
Oh, I signed my rights over when my daughter was 16. She slashed my tires. She put Drano in my drink. She did all kind of stuff.
But see, that's the disrespectful. Remember I just said.
Yeah, she called me bees, told me to die. The mental illness got so bad because it was so out of control, like with the diabetes and the mental health. And so it was like, if the diabetes was out of whack, the mental health was out of whack. I was doing the best I could. I had her signed up with all these different agencies and services and therapy, and a behavioral health specialist, and a school person. And you name it, therapist, like everything. After school programs, let's get you into sports. Let's figure it out. No, it just got to a point where I checked out with everything I was doing, and then you try to kill me because I ain't gonna give you no money. Just because I ain't gonna give you no money, you pour Drano in my drink. No. So yes, I signed my rights over when she was 16.
Now that I totally agree with, because remember I just said I ain't tolerating no disrespect. Yeah. Because I called the police on my son and had them come and get my son from the house.
I've had to do that multiple. I had to do that multiple times. So that's another thing. Like, I'm not one of them parents that I'm not getting on the news and start talking about how my daughter was an angel. I'll talk about all of her accolades, because she did finish high school. I stayed in her life. We just couldn't live together because after that incident, I didn't trust her. But my daughter was in a few mental facilities because of like different things that she had done, like pulling guns out on people. Like, my daughter was doing stuff. She was busy. She was busy. And so it just got to the point where, it was like, you know what, Lord, I can't do this no more. As much as I love you, I need to love you from over there and see how we can get along or come to a medium and just not living together. And so she was emancipated at 16.
Right.
And so, yeah, I had to, but the older she got, the worse it got.
Right.
The worse.
That's totally different, because you was trying. Remember I said when I talked to a lot of them, they ain't even trying. They ain't tried no therapy, because a lot of households don't want nobody in their business nowadays.
They feel like they're going to be exposed as a parent. See, I wasn't afraid of that because I had my ducks in a row. Yeah, I did it. I had police come to my house. She called 241 kids on me one time, and the police came over, and she was like, she hit me with a bat, and it's right here. He was like, hold on, hold on. He was like, wait a minute. If we take your mom to jail, where you think you going? He said, you got a nice home. He said, you have a nice bedroom furniture. You got nice, it smells nice in here, man. He's like, was the bat metal, wooden, or plastic? She was like, it's plastic. It's got duct tape around. She described it to a T. He said, that's not a crime. It was a white officer. He said, I'm not taking your mom to jail. She works every day. You're out here in the streets acting a fool, man. And then he said, didn't I see you yesterday up on Warsaw fighting with a group of girls? Called her out. He said, so I'm going to leave you here with your mama. Yeah, I went through some stuff. Yeah.
And I commend you for that. And one thing you said, I also heard you say you emancipated her. So you really didn't just give up on her. You still went through the steps, like, you know, like, okay, well, if you can't stay with me, let me go ahead and get you emancipated.
Yeah, because I ain't want nothing coming back on me.
That's what about, you see what I'm saying? So, but that's totally different, because we have disrespectful people out here. They're going, you know, kids are going to be disrespectful. They really have some out here. So that's why I said, like, I want to make it clear on here, like, well, if y'all listen to me, y'all already know I called the police on my son before. You know, because my son was out here getting into trouble too when he was younger. I'm glad he's, you know, slowly but surely coming out of it now. But back then, I mean, from like the time he was 14 to like 19, my son was in and out of jail. Like, it seemed like he get out and go right back, you know, and I wasn't having it. You know, it's like, you know, they know when they can't do stuff at home. You know, my son has started running away. I'm getting into it with family. So I totally understand how that is.
They don't live in your hell, is what I used to say. You don't live in my hell. Guess what though? I sent her to quite a few of their houses, and guess what they said? Oh, she got to go. Oh no, you was making it seem like it was me.
And it wasn't me.
Yeah, then they had to see on their own. So yes. Yeah.
That's it. And so I commend you on that, because like I said, no, when I say giving up, I'm talking about parents, and I want to stress this, that ain't tried. It's a different if you try. And you know, because I don't let nobody be disrespectful. My whole family, no kids can't even come in my house if they ain't respectful. You know, keep them out there. So it's a difference now. But if you ain't tried, then try. Like I just heard you say, you tried everything. You was like, I had this service, this. That's what I'm talking about. And I want to commend you for that, mama.
Thank you.
Know, that says a lot. So tell us about your Her and Him program. Like, talk to us a little bit about Her first, because that's the one you first did.
Okay. So the purpose of Her is, like I said first, is to teach the kids about their social emotional intelligence. So it's social emotional learning. So they call it SEL in schools. And so right now I have a contract with DYS and Juvenile Court and Don Community High School. So I teach social emotional learning, professional development, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy to our youth. And what it does is I try to, as well as a few other things, but the goal is to try to prepare them for real life skills. Like a lot of kids nowadays, all they know is a cell phone, YouTube, and Facebook, right? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. So if you take all of those things away, what do you have? What is your skill set? What have you learned? You know, like, are you someone who, like, you feel like you know, like at first I asked the kids, like, what does respect mean to them? And what kind of relationships do they have with their parents? Because when I dive deep into the ones that say they don't have a relationship, I kind of like put it on either paper or on the board. So these are your parents' responsibilities. What are your responsibilities? Can you do what they do? Can you handle this if they walk away? So you feel like you know it all, and you 15 and you got it all together. At 15, did you know that you have to either pay rent or mortgage? And on top of that rent or mortgage, you know, there comes all of these other bills, and then there's the necessities that are miscellaneous on the side. And so with the dollar amount, depending on how many people are in your household, can you handle this? Or if you wake up tomorrow and you go to school and you have a whole 7 hours at school, you get home, you looking for something to eat, but it ain't no food. And next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock at night, no mama, no daddy. Where they at? And then somebody knock on the door and tell you they gone and they ain't coming back. What can you do on your own as a juvenile? Because your brain is not fully developed enough to be able to take care of all of the responsibilities that come with maintaining a household. So there's a reason why you go through this growth spurt in life to be able to become an adult. So I teach them about that COVID of each and every household. So, I'll get to that in a minute though. But yes, so I have a curriculum that I have created and built. Someone helped me create it. Let me make that very clear too. And I take ideas from different places, but for the most part, I try to put real life in front of them. It's coming from someone that is not connected to them, because most kids don't listen to their parents, and they're influenced by other youth, mainly. Their peers are their biggest influencers. But coming from Miss Kiana, who most of them look at me and think I'm in my 20s, I try to meet them where they are. So, not because I'm immature, but because their mindsets, you have to do it like that, especially with our population. So I'm gonna come to you. I'm not gonna come with my dress on and I'm gonna put on my t-shirt with my logo on it and my sneakers, because I want them to see me as someone that can connect with them and build trust. So then, but once I get them, they always know, like, no, you ain't about to. I had a kid say yesterday, bro, you ain't gonna win, so don't even try to argue with her. Exactly. But I am the parent away from home because I'm part of that village. So I wish somebody would have been a village for mine. So I'm gonna make you understand and hold you accountable for the decisions that you're making behind your parents' back, because you're a reflection of who they are. So hold on now, wait a minute. You're a young lady, and listen to how you speaking. You really think that a man wants you and that's the way you talk, he's gonna want you when you speak like that? Hold on, wait a minute now. So same thing with a young man. I do the same things with them. So it's about trying to help create a better culture. But it's only just one me and it's one you.
Hey, but you creating that culture though. Because guess what I heard you say, what that child say? Like, don't even argue with her. You ain't gonna win. They already know what to expect from you. They already know. So when we in these environments, like you said, you don't have to, have on a suit and tie or yell at them to let them know, like, hey, I got your best interest at heart, or get your point across.
I'm gonna show them.
That's it. That's what they see. That's what they remember.
Show them.
That's it.
Yeah. I bring food.
They remember the suit and tie.
Yeah, I bring them food. I try to, I know in the morning kids don't be eating sometimes. They be hungry. They deal with the food insecurities. And they might have a refrigerator full of food at home, but they may not have time to eat in the morning. I want to help them the best way that I can and to help their brains develop just a little bit. If I could drop a couple nuggets on you one day, just give me one day. But if you give me some consistent days, we winning. Because now I'm really going to be influencing. I'm going to really rub off on you,
Oh, yeah. And that's what's about, consistency. They constantly seeing you. Because they don't have a lot of people talking to these youth out here about mindset awareness. Like you said, you ask them what respect is, but you also putting it in their terms for them. Like, okay, let me break it down for you to understand what respect is. So let me ask you in a different way. What's the relationship you got with your mom? Like you said, if you ask them about responsibility, they don't think about that. Like, what is my responsibilities as a child? You know what I mean? That's how they sit there thinking. But that's how you making them think. What is your responsibility when it comes to respect? What do you have to do? And I love that. So with his program, is it him? Is it him or his?
It's her and him now. So it's one. Her is the nonprofit, and then you got her and him LLC.
Okay, so talk about the her and him.
Okay, so that's when. So right now it's in the process of being built. I'm getting policies and procedure done so that I could be able to do billable services. So I have a few therapists that I have lined up to be able to come on board, and some case managers to work with me and to work with, once again, our population when it comes to our youth, to be able to give them a space to come to talk about what they're dealing with. After school program, whether it's, like if, hey, Miss Kiana, I'm struggling with math, but I don't want everybody at the school to know. So guess what? I'm gonna come to your office after school, and guess what? Miss Kiana got some computers to be able to teach you how to just whatever it is that you may need to know. And I got some UC and Xavier students lined up to be able to, whatever day such and such is coming, I'll just say Samantha. So Samantha might be coming on a Tuesday, and I might have 3 kids that I need her to tutor. Okay. And so we're gonna give each kid 30 minutes with Samantha. And if we do that consecutively, then guess what? We're helping them change the way that they think, the trajectory of, okay, there's hope out here for me. So I can do mathematics. Maybe mom can't help you with the math because either she at work or maybe she failed in math herself and she needs help. So guess what? If she needs some help, she can come too. Okay, she just needs to tell me what her time slot is. So, and when I do things like that, when the program does that, we'll be able to bill Medicaid. So, whether it's just the tutoring, it could be just having a group, and we have different topics. We do role playing. We do a lot of different things. It's kind of like a therapeutic approach to therapy, but not therapy.
Right.
So it's therapy, but it's not therapy. I give them a lot of handouts and homework because I want them to be able to see this is just not me speaking off the top of my head. So we work through things together. I have like a lot of card games that we, like, because these are facts. So this is what they call in the real world. They're like, okay, so this is a program that has goodness, Miss Kiana has a brain freeze right now. Evidence-based. It's an evidence-based program. So the curriculums that I use are all evidence-based. And I have one of my own that I am in the process of getting streamlined so it could be evidence-based, because I'm getting a lot of positive outcomes from the work that I'm doing. And so if my approach is working, and guess what? There have been a few that I could not help. So I won't say that I'm 100%, but I'll probably say 90% of the youth and adults that I've come in contact with, I'm able to provide resources to be able to help them with the things that they deal with, or I'm able to provide other avenues for them to be able to get the things that they need. And so the billable services will be the LLC because that's a for-profit entity. And the nonprofit entity is me getting contracts. I go into the schools, I'm teaching the SEL, making connections that way so that, they'll be able to have successful days in school. So it's kind of like a mental health bell, if you really think about it that way. So yeah. And then I'll tell you later about my COVID, but go ahead.
Oh, that is okay. So we're gonna have parents on here. They're gonna come on here. How do they reach out to you if they want that, like, or do the parents reach out to you, or do you just go
I
to the
have people
school
reach out to me. I had somebody text me yesterday and say they wanted to give my number to somebody else who niece was having issues with their kid. So it was like, hey. So I get a lot of those. I get a lot of phone calls where people might be like, hey, Kiana, can you do like an intervention where it be me, my son, my daughter, and my baby daddy, or I need to have an intervention with me and my son, or me and my daughter, or it might be, can you do an intervention with just my kids? So I do like little private sessions for stuff like that. I've had people call me, like, I have a few people from my church that called like, hey, my daughter's having some issues with my granddaughter. Can you help? So I get a lot of, that's how I kind of get a lot of calls and stuff like that.
Okay, so if they did want to reach you, how would they reach out to you? What platforms are you on? Or do they reach out to you through email?
Girl, I ain't no social media.
Hey, that's why I say, or do they reach out to you? See, I say, or do they reach out to you?
913-295-6696. That's it. Miss Kiana don't know. So I got to get there. Let me say that. I do have an Instagram page, but it's got some pictures and stuff on there of things that I do with the kids. I've taken them to like Great Wolf. So I reward the kids too. So I take them different places. We've been to the Ark, we've been to Cosi, we've been to Great Wolf for 3 days. I've done programming and then, like fun, so it's always some programming involved because I'm gonna put their mind to work. But yeah, like, so the Instagram page is Keisha's Cause. I think it's just Keisha's Cause. So it's KeishaskAuse. It's all together. And this is my logo. They'll see it in the background and know that's me. And then I do have a website, which is keishascause.org. But I mean, if they look it up, you're able to get on the keishascause.org. But I really would like to be able to put more things on there. And so we're building it up, is what I should say. So it's vague. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Can you say that number again? Because I think I was talking the first time, just in case.
It's 513-295-6696.
Because somebody watching this program needs to reach out to you. I'm telling you that now. Somebody that's gonna watch this, y'all need to reach out to Miss Keisha, right? And it's Miss Kiana. Look, I just said Keisha for the Keisha.
My daughter was Keisha.
Right. Oh, see, I'm glad I said that.
Yeah, it's Keisha's cause. So yeah, everything is about Keisha's cause. It's her cause, not mine.
Oh, see, look, that's how I got it out of her, y'all. See, look, I pulled it out. I ain't know how to go get it, but I got it.
So
I didn't know that. I love that. I love that. And she's available, and she's also, and you in the schools. So let them know where are you at, because
I'm just at Don. So I have so I'm only at Don right now, but I do have I'm a vendor for Cincinnati Public, but I'm not in Cincinnati Public. So I've done all the necessary steps and paperwork I needed to get into Cincinnati Public Schools, and I'm insured as well, by the way. Yeah, no, I'm not in Cincinnati Public Schools. I probably need to send a proposal to them because they've reached out to me before, but that was last school year. And so it was the end of the school year. And yeah, so I probably do need to be reaching out because I've heard there's a lot going on at CPS. Yeah. But I have a group in the evening. So hey, group and the after school program is just as powerful.
So which Don is it? Which Don are you at? Or is
so it's Don Refocus. So Don Refocus is actually most of the kids that are on probation that go to Don. Oh, so it's not their regular population. It's not CODA. It's not any of that. It's the kids that are coming from the court or through the court.
Right. Yeah. Oh. Mm-hmm. I love that. So I'm like, look, y'all hear that? She's dealing with the kids coming directly from the court system, which is good because that's where they need the most mindset at. That's where we need to catch them right there. So I'm so glad to hear you say that.
Would love to catch them before they get there, but that's why I'm working on some of the other ones in the community. Do you have any more?
Oh yes, I do. Before we leave, for all the parents out there that may have lost a child and they're struggling to get on their feet, or that's having a lot of negative thoughts going through their head. Maybe they don't have the, emotional support. Maybe they don't have no support. Yeah. What would you tell them, parents?
I would tell them to keep pushing and find purpose. And it doesn't have to be to the magnitude of what I'm doing, but you can't give up. You still got to live life. And I do believe that seeds don't grow until they're planted. So your seed, my seed, they have to be watered and planted in order for us to grow and to be able to be vessels in other people's lives. Our children really weren't ours anyway. They were loners. So my daughter is with her real father now, and I have to believe and trust the process. So I can't say that I believe in God, but I don't trust the process. I know it wasn't him that took my daughter, but there's a lot going on in the world spiritually. We're in a spiritual warfare, but I do believe that she is with her real father now. I do, because her death is impacting so many other people's lives. How could it be in vain? It's not. So yeah, I will definitely let somebody know that. And I did want to share, if you don't mind.
Yes, please do.
When we think of COVID, we think of sickness and illness, and we think of like how it's affected the community, and everybody lost somebody to a cold, right? But our COVID is the contagion of violence, incarceration, and death. So the contagion is something that spreads and it's infectious. The incarceration piece, the violence, I'm sorry, either you had a violent act committed upon you, or somebody that's violent, mama, daddy, sister, brother, cousin. You see violence at home, at school, and in the community. So your violence at home could be your daddy whooping on your mama whooping on you because she can't whoop on her daddy. Your daddy whooping on your mama because he couldn't go whooping on his job if he got a job, or his mental health. And so then you go to school and you whooping on the educators and your peers because you bullying, because you being bullied at home and you seeing bullying going on at home. And then guess what? Boom, you go to the community and then you're a terror in the community because of what you're not dealing with at home. It's that trauma. And so the traumas have affected our mindset. And so then you just you grow up when it's not addressed. You grow up to become a terror as an adult. So with all them unaddressed issues. And then the incarceration piece is our peers and family members, they go to jail and then they get out of jail and they make it seem like it's a vacation to go to jail, because in our communities it's not frowned upon. It's okay to commit crimes as a youth because you know, young man, they ain't gonna do to you what they did to me because you young, you know. But now they locking them up and putting them in prison with these grown men. And so guess what? Going to prison is a trauma. There's no reason why going to prison should be treated as such of a vacation, because it's not. And so I feel like it's just we promoting it wrong. And so you in my program because you're on your way to being incarcerated or you already been incarcerated. And then when you think about death, you think about grief. So when you're thinking about grief that's going unaddressed, you know, you think about the fact that these kids might have only had a big mama and big mama died. She was the one feeding his mama, selling the food stamps. You know what I'm saying? She's selling the stamps. So we ain't got nothing to eat. So now I got to go out here and hustle and potentially put my life on the line for me and my siblings because she on drugs or chasing a nigga in the club or whatever it is, you know, or it could be the daddy. Same thing. It goes for the fathers too. And so, you know, when you think about the death, you think about the death of a relationship. Well, my daddy in jail, that's still death. That's still, guess what? That's grief. I'm grieving over the loss of my father because I lost him to the system. And then I'm grieving over or even for adults, you know, I lost a relationship or a job, or, you know, like you and me, we lost a child. So grief is real big in our communities and we got to learn how to deal with it and don't let it deal with us. So I just was going to say that. So we got to learn as people to encourage one another, be more supportive and less judgmental. And we got to know that it's okay to not be okay and need help. Yeah.
And that's the big one right there. Because especially over here in America, we definitely got to promote that it's okay not to be okay, because everybody got this wall up, right? Everybody over here just want to be, you know, macho. Like,
yeah,
and
we
it's
want
like,
to dress it up.
It is. It's like, it's okay. So I'm glad that I'm glad you told us about COVID, because you kept hitting on it. And you said, I'm going to save it for the end.
Yeah.
You kept hitting on it. But we needed to hear that at the end, because a lot of people don't understand that. They truly don't. And nobody is hitting on exactly that. And especially it coming from you, I believe it hits more home, because you can hit them with a whole lot of stuff that even I can't, right? You lost your daughter in a whole different situation. And I think that's why your therapist was saying, talk to them about that. Because guess what? These kids out here don't got nothing but ops. So I would really love for you to talk to them more about that, because they out here playing, you know, what is it? What's the games? I don't even know the name of the games. Warfare, Outlook. I don't even know the name of the games. But you know, these shooting games they got, and they out here playing them games.
Real.
They think it's real. So they out here killing people, but you can put it to them like this. Like, you can say, just what if it was your sister? And take the whole scenario from your daughter and put it to them like that. And then make them really think. You know, I can't do that like you can, because you got a whole different, you know, like our situations are different. We both lost children, but in a whole total different way. And for me, I believe that's why you can bring it to them. It definitely is. But I believe a reach, like the way you reach some people, you know, I might not be able to in a way, just like I might be able to, you might not. Right. It's all about, like, for instance, a person who lost a child in the same way as I have, you know, they gonna sympathize more with me than a person, like, you got young people out here thinking about chopping people up for real, in real life.
Yes.
So if you can put that to them in their mind frame before they even get to that point and make them think about it, like, hold up, because they ain't thinking about, if you really want to go in the room, I put it to kids like this: go in the closet and just stand in there for 10 minutes by yourself. In a closet, in a closet, not a room.
See what that does to you mentally.
It destroys you. So, and that's how you got to challenge them like that. Because then when we do that, I notice a lot of them go in there, and a lot of them don't even want to go in the closet for 10 minutes to shut the door. So when you put it to them like that, you make them go in there, and that's what you're doing. You're forcing them to think in a whole different way. And I just want to tell you, before we get off of here, if nobody else, you know, I empathize with what you're going through.
I appreciate
You
that.
know, I definitely, you know, understand to a certain point, but it's certain points that I know I don't when it comes to you, but I definitely can empathize because we both then lost children. And just keep pushing and doing and stay blessed because with what you're doing, I see you like you don't have there's no cap for what you're doing. People people always experience death. That's something that ain't gonna ever go away.
It will never go away.
It will
And
never go.
everybody handles it differently.
And that's why they need your program. Like you said, before they get incarcerated.
Yeah.
So just keep doing what you're doing. And I just want to tell you before we get up here, y'all, please reach out to Miss Kiana if y'all have any children that y'all feel is, you know, out there, you know, or dealing with the courts, or maybe you like, you know, I'm trying to prevent them from going there. I've been you know, I don't know how to work with this shelter. I didn't try and try. Well, reach out to Miss Kiana.
Yeah.
Maybe she can give y'all a different way to view things or different programs that you ain't even thought about, you know, that
different
she
techniques
has.
or just some of the laws too, because like our kids need to be supported, the parents need to be supported too. So I'm a support system for parents too that's going through, because I dealt with a child that had mental illness. So that the parents need support because we get exhausted and tired too and want to just, like you said, give up. Like, I can't do it no more. Well, let me tell you what you can do, you know. So absolutely, no, I appreciate that. Hopefully, you know, I'll get to come on here again and tell y'all some more stuff. But I want to be a light in anybody's life that might be dark right now. So I know people be like, dang, she lost her daughter, but don't feel sad for me. I'm good. I'm good because I know Keisha good.
Girl, you get, and see, that's the strength right there. I felt the strength, so I know they did, because I was like, shoot, you know, because like you said, a lot of people don't think of that. They, as soon as you say that, they get, you know, sad.
Yeah.
But I look at your face with everything you went through, and just to see the smile and how much you keep going and keep going. If that ain't determination, if that ain't you know, staying blessed, if that ain't shining the light, I don't know what is.
Well, girl, I'm raising somebody else's kids now. I'm raising somebody else's 2 daughters that went to prison, and that's a whole nother. Look, that's part 2.
Hey, look, boy, you hear me? But that's why you in the position you in, because the father, like you said, he knew you can handle that. He knew you can handle that. But where you at now, them kids in great hands.
Yeah,
so
I
I'm gonna let you
I needed them more than they needed me.
Oh, listen to that. And that, you know, that's the love that you know, that you thought you was missing right there, you know. And it's like you can never it'll never be the exact same, but at least you can have a little bit, you know, just like a little bit of patch right there. Because as a mom, I know, like I tell people, don't say that I'm gonna get over it, because I'm never gonna get over it. Never. You know, I just learned how to deal with it every day. And that's what I love to tell people. So I don't never tell parents that, because you will never get over it. So I don't want to say that. So, but you will keep learning how to deal with it every day. And you definitely got my blessings. And so I'm going to get off of here, y'all. So I'm about to, but before I go, y'all know I got to tell y'all, if nobody else love y'all already know. Queen A do.
Thank you, Queen A.
Hey, I'm about to just stop the recording real quick.